Hello! I'm here. I made it. Even though a little bit late. We were going going for a marathon session in my Money Lab membership group, so we were a bit busy today. And then I realized I had no juice on my phone because I was just talking so much. So, for those of you who are joining live, hello, hello, hello. I am Catherine Massell. I am a master intuitive energy healer. I am an ascending earth creatrix. If you're joining, please say hello. Let me know you're here. If you are watching the replay, let me know you're watching the replay. I'd love to know that. So I just want to make sure that I'm sharing in all the right places, and then I'll get started. So, boom, boom, boom. I hope you're all doing well on this fine Saturday. It is a lovely day. I can't wait to get outside. I've been in the house all day teaching my Money Lab class in my pajamas. But you know what? That's why I went into business for myself. So, here we go. Okay, we're in all the right places. Awesome. So, I want to talk to you today about clearing your money memories. So this is something that we were just talking about today. Let me get some more light. And my hair is still wet. I'm all showered. I got nice and clean for you. I showered for you. Today in the Money Lab membership group, we were talking about a couple different things, but one of the things we were talking about in terms of clearing, healing, and releasing beliefs, feelings, and stories, programs that are leading you into a lack mentality with money. A lot of what's there came to you at a very young age, came to you and became part of your subconscious patterning or programming of behavior from the time you're really young, like 6, 7, 8 years of age. I even have some clients who told me they remember things from even earlier than that. And when you think about those beliefs that come in, a lot of them come in because of how we had behavior modeled to us by those in our lives, such as parents, friends, family. We had beliefs impressed upon us from a very young age through, family members, friends, etc. Hi, Stacy Norris Allen. And we often tend to cement these beliefs, feelings into our subconscious because of memories we have around money that helped us to create a story, a larger story or a larger program around money. So a lot of times when people are doing manifesting work, and especially when we're talking about manifesting money as we are in the Money Lab, many people don't take into account the things that they remember at a very young age around money, around the people that you cared about in your life, the people that you learned how to be an adult from your parents or whoever raised you. So you also learned, unfortunately, all of their beliefs, and you adopted a lot of beliefs or inherited a lot of beliefs that are oftentimes filled with lack or scarcity around money, unless you grew up wealthy. If you grew up wealthy, you learn different patterns around money. But those of us who grew up not having money, like I did, adopted a poverty mentality very early on. And we find that this is the hardest stuff for us to break and to sever the cords of. And we are still running programs. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Allison. We are still running programs well into our adult life based on these money memories that we have, based on stories that we were told about money that are largely false, based on beliefs that we adopted or inherited from family members and friends. Hi, Lamorla. And we end up having feelings, and we develop actions and behaviors around money that only support this even further into our adult lives. Hi, Svetlana. So we were talking about this today. Svetlana was there with me. Allison's in the group too. We were talking about this in the Money Lab today. and how to break these and clear these money memories so that we can start creating new money memories, so that we can start patterning or programming a different operating behavior that includes new feelings and beliefs around money. So for me, I had to clear a lot of money memories. And I'm going to tell you some of the ones that I have, and I'm going to give you examples. I'm going to actually give you ways here to clear these money memories, just like I shared in the group, the Money Lab. So the Money Lab is a membership group that I have going right now, and there's amazing women in there. Allison is in there, Svetlana is in there, and we are doing a work. We are looking at some stuff that, yeah, it's pretty painful. And we were discussing this in class today in the Money Lab, that it is painful to look at this stuff. I'm not going to say that it's not. But here's largely the crux, and something you have to ask yourself when you want to do this work. Because if you are really asking for a higher quality of life, a better quality of experience, and more money, you have to look at why you haven't been able to call this in thus far. So you're obviously in some level of resistance to it. Otherwise you would have it. Otherwise you would have more money. Otherwise you would have a better quality of life. So you're operating at some level of resistance. And it is painful to excavate this stuff. And why it is painful is because largely you've developed a persona, an identity that has allowed you to survive in this world. But it's so painful to look at this stuff and dismantle this identity because it is all that which has been kept you feeling separate from the singular consciousness of your own divinity. And it's painful to dismantle this stuff on an ego level because the ego doesn't like its feathers ruffled. The ego, the subconscious mind, likes what is familiar. The ego and subconscious mind could care less if what's been familiar for you has been a poverty mindset or a lack mentality. It likes what is familiar, and it wants to keep it that way. Thank you very much. So when you start dismantling this and telling the ego, we're not going to be this anymore, you start telling the subconscious and putting new beliefs and feelings and behaviors in place, telling the subconscious, we're not going to be this way anymore, it's going to cause some growing pains. There are going to be rifts, and there are going to be plenty of opportunities for the subconscious and the ego to say, we're not going to do this. Those are called sabotages. We talk about that in the Money Lab as well. So what I asked the wonderful lady in the group today when she said this stuff is painful, it's hard to look at. Some of them are finding that they're dragging their feet on the exercises a little bit because on an ego level, we already know what's happening. Like the ego already sees the writing on the wall and says, uh-oh, we're going to dismantle this stuff. I mean, we have to lose our identity. We have to lose these superimposed layers of who we think we are over our own divinity. I don't like that very much at all. So the ego will be that voice of the inner critic or the inner judge that tells you, you know, you can't ever be different. You can't ever change this. You've always been this way. You're always going to be this way. You can't shift this. You can't change that. Blah, 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 blah. It's all ego babble. It's all bullshit. So it sees you doing this work and it says, okay, well, we're going to make you drag your feet because we don't want to change. We don't want to change. The ego and the subconscious says we like things just the way they are. This is good. We've managed to survive in this world so far. This is fine. So another reason why it's painful to do this work is because you are realizing your divinity that is under all of these superimposed layers of resistance and ego identity, and realizing the separation that you have allowed yourself to feel for a lifetime, or some of us as we're unfolding karmic contracts, several lifetimes. And the realization that we have allowed ourselves and we've created situations for ourselves and created an identity for ourselves that has allowed us to feel separate from God, source, whatever, that's a painful realization. And we'd rather not have the awareness of that, thank you very much. We would rather not notice that everywhere we're feeling lack, everywhere we're feeling poverty, everywhere we're feeling scarcity, that we have done it to ourselves. It's painful because we realize that we put all that stuff there. Largely, yes, we inherited some conscious programming, but that was just our foundation. And we decided as free will beings, equipped with free will choice, that we would just build on that foundation with more layers of lack And coming to that realization and having full awareness and the presence and the mindfulness of that truth is painful. But what is more painful? Having this level of being woke and doing nothing about it, going forward into 2019 with all the same patterning, programs, stories intact, without clearing, releasing, or healing them, or looking at what's there and why they're there. And going into 2019 with the same old, well, I guess I'll just be in survival mode again. I guess I'll have to say no to that retreat again. I guess I'll have to say no to putting that addition on the house again. I guess I'll have to say no to the kids going to Disneyland this year. I guess I'll have to say no to buying all organic groceries this year. What's more painful? When you have this level of being awake to your own bullshit and your own shenanigans that you've been conducting over a lifetime to keep you in this lack mentality and creating a persona of someone who is poor or in poverty, when you wake up to that, how painful is that then to just stay in that identity? When you know that there is more for you, when you are convinced that you can be someone else, someone who says yes to all the wonderful things in life that you want. This is at the core of what we're working on in the Money Lab. It's powerful. So the women that are in there can tell you, hopefully, if some of them are watching, maybe some of them will join, that this is a powerful container for transformation. And there is ongoing support, calls, resources, tools, mindset shifts, pattern interrupting shifts, energy healing, manifesting tips and techniques that maybe you haven't experienced before through the end of December 2018, and it's for $197. So the holidays are coming. 2019 is coming. How long will you wait to start working on your money story? You're going to wait until it's January 1st? The year's already started at that point. Are you going to wait until the holidays and you are bemoaning the fact that there isn't enough money in your account and there aren't enough ways to get the kids presents and there aren't enough ways to go to all the holiday parties and supply the food, or you're part of the potluck dinners at work and the family and office parties? Start doing this work now. So it's incredibly powerful for the women who are in this group, and there's also a fella in the group doing this work, so it is open to anyone who wants to positively shift their money story and create a more loving and empowered and positive relationship with money. So if you've been noticing you have a really dysfunctional relationship with money and it's time to change it, everything you need is in this support group. So there it is. There's my little spiel. So creating your money clearing your money memories. And then we're going to run a couple sacred soul alignments for you so that you can clear some things around your poverty mentality and being stuck in a poverty mindset. We're going to do the poverty, struggle, and suffering energetic disconnect sacred soul alignment. Hi, Tanya. And we are going to do the not for me sacred soul alignment. Those are both really powerful. So your money memories. To me, this is, as I've done this work and all the work that's in Sacred Soul Alignment, the Money Lab has allowed me to shift my money story, to have a much more empowered relationship with money, to the point where what I'm doing now and where I am right now is unrecognizable. If I was to be in my shoes right now a year ago and look ahead to this time, I wouldn't believe it. Hi, Renska. Hi, Megan. So much has shifted, and it has come from doing the exercises and committing to all the tools and resources and using them as valuable tools and resources that are in the Money Lab, okay? So if you want to shift this stuff is for you. And I think the most powerful exercise in this group is the Your Money Memories exercise. So this allows you to take a look at your money blocks, but it really allows you, doing this exercise that's in the group, I'm going to share this with you here today, it allows you to look at your memories around money. So starting from as early as we can remember, most of us find that there are plenty of situations that have triggered feelings of blame, lack, even anger, fear, resentment, embarrassment, or even shame around money. And all of this adds up to a larger money story that we're carrying around like a wet woolen sack on our back. And it also shows very clearly how we feel about money in our lives right now, whether it's true or not. So because of subconscious patterning and programming that we are operating on, we have learned to adopt or inherit beliefs, feelings, behaviors from as early as 6, 7 years of age. And it has become a template upon which this is our foundation, and then we build our identity with just more layers that align with those energetics of the beliefs and the feelings that we took on at a very young age. Unless we realize the patterning and programming like we're doing in the Money Lab and breaking it, and breaking the legacy of it, because many of us, because of screwed up beliefs that we're holding and feelings, we almost hold on to this legacy of lack in our family as a way of honoring our family and our ancestry. But as I said in the women in the group today in the Money Lab, it stops with you if you choose that. So a lot of times we'll say, well, I have these money memories from early on, it's just the way I grew up. It's just the way my grandfather was. It's just the way my grandmother was. It's just the way my father was. It's just the way my uncle is. Fine. That's true. And it's great to have that awareness and to be mindful of that. But you don't have to be that. That story, that legacy, stops with you. If you desire that, if you make that choice, and if you adopt new behaviors, feelings, and beliefs that align with that choice. So we've adopted money stories that are money memories that allow us to feel things or believe things about money, whether they're true or not. Because the impact that they had, the trigger that they was kind of like a cascade effect, a triggering effect around this memory, has been a constant cascade effect that has taken us up to our present and our adult life. So think about the power of that. So when I share this exercise with the group, and I'm sharing it with you here today as a gift to you, this exercise really helps you to go through your early money memories and compile all of them to see how they make up your current money story. And after you've put your list together, and I want to give you the opportunity to just grab a piece of paper and a pen so you can take notes here. After you've put your list together of all these money memories, it's important to clear this energy. So maybe you have a favorite energy clearing technique. It could be you just saying cancel, clear, delete, like being in the space and the presence of feeling this, whatever the money memory is, and then saying cancel, clear, delete. You can do cord cutting with Archangel Michael and help you to sever the program and sever the belief and the feeling that it keeps triggering within you and the behavior. It can even, if you've had a really toxic relationship with a money memory where a person is involved, you can also ask Archangel Michael to sever that connection and do an energetic disconnect from that person and that memory. You can do some good old forgiveness prayer work. I'm sorry, thank you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. So again, putting yourself in the energetic of this memory, like not reliving it, but rather where you're in a place of reviewing it. You don't have to go back into the pain of it, but just kind of have this energetic connection with it like you're a fly on the wall watching it happen, that it's not really you in that memory. And just through your empathic connection to it, you don't have to relive it, you can just review it and then sever the cord or connection, say cancel, clear, delete, or do a forgiveness prayer right there in that space. If you do theta healing and you do belief work, maybe you've taken a course with me before and we've done belief work before, do some belief work on it. Clear it by connecting to Source Creator. You can also do EFT tapping, which is fantastic, and I shared my special way of doing EFT tapping with the ladies in the Money Lab today. Or do forgiveness prayer and EFT tapping. It can't hurt. So it depends on how deep this memory goes and what kind of pain it conjures when you think of it. You may want to throw everything at it and ask to always remember to do this when you are clearing and releasing, because if there's a larger karmic pattern at work, you want to make sure that you ask to keep the lesson. Because when you ask to keep the lesson, you get to download Creator's definition of, this is why we sent this to you. This is why you went through this experience or had this situation, because you actually asked for this lesson. So it is you saying to Source Creator, or the Creator within you, that thank you, got it now. I see it. I no longer need to repeat it. You don't need to keep sending this to me. So it's really important when you do healing and releasing work, if there's a deeper karmic pattern at work, ask to keep the lesson so you don't have to have situations that are being sent to you over and over in a loop cycle for you to recreate. That sends a message to the universe that you're done. Thank you very much. Lesson downloaded and complete. So the list that you come up with your memories, and I'm going to give you some things to look at to help you compile your own list of money memories. The list that you come up with today, it's not exhaustive. Here's the thing that happens. When we start doing this work, we become awake. We become aware. And then we are in the energetic vibration of awake and aware. So the universe says, "Ooh, goody, she's awake. She's aware. She's looking at this stuff. Let's send her more stuff to look at," because it's all about your energetic vibration. So if you're in the vibration of, I'm looking at this stuff right now, I'm volunteering to look at this stuff now, I am willing and allowing myself to look at this stuff now, the universe gets very excited and says, awesome, because we've been waiting to show her this, and this. She's ready. So, and I'm not saying that to instill fear in you. I'm actually, if you're like me, I get excited because when I'm ready to do this work, I want to do it all. I am all in. I am going at it like gangbusters, like, let's clear it all. Clearing house, let's get it out. Let's clean out this warehouse and let's open it up for new abundance to flow in. So I just want to say that when you are in that energetic, the universe will send you more things. So that's why I say the list you come up with today, when you start doing this work and you get in the energetic vibration of doing this work, of becoming more awake and aware, this list is not exhaustive. The universe will send you more things, maybe even things that you've forgotten about, things that you had shelved down deep within you, buried under layers of protection, because the ego does want to protect you and the subconscious wants to keep you safe. That is what it is programmed to do. So a lot of times we start doing this work and we're in the energetic of uncovering, we will open up this Pandora's box and things will be uncovered. We'll be excavating things that were buried deep down inside. But this is good, because chances are if the deeper something is buried within you, you are running a larger bottom belief or key belief program. So you may think that you're working on like a bottom belief, but it's actually just a fragmentary belief to something that's buried way down deep in your subconscious. Does that make sense? So it's good when that stuff comes up. But I geek out on this stuff. I love doing shadow work. I love excavating. I love being a detective in my own life and finding the things that are keeping me in resistance. So if you're like me, you'll love this work. If you're not like me and you're dreading having to be responsible then for these actions or feelings and beliefs, this might not be as easy for you and you may find it painful. But go back and listen to what I said about that at the beginning of this talk. So the subconscious, yeah, it doesn't like what is unfamiliar. So it introduces ways to keep you right where you are. So if you have a really hard time doing this exercise, it's called self-sabotage. And we do that because the subconscious doesn't like change. The subconscious doesn't want to shift. The subconscious wants to keep you safe. And what is safe in terms of how the subconscious thinks about it is what is familiar. The pattern that you've been running. Even if it's self-negating, even if it's self-diminishing, the ego and the subconscious don't care. It just cares about, this is where we've been for a really long time. Even if it's just survival mode, even if we're just scraping by, even if it's self-negating, it's familiar, we know it. So you will experience resistance with it. It's just going to happen. But you can go through, what I have in the group is a list of sabotages that are a bunch of different ways we sabotage our success with good health and well-being, our success with business, our success with relationships, our success with money, with all kinds of stuff. So that is a list that's available to you in the Money Lab to look at. But you can look at what is on your list of money memories and see a pattern. You don't need the list of sabotages to do that. You can still get a lot of information from this exercise. But when you write down the list of your money memories, you will see a pattern emerge, a larger story. So this exercise really helps you to see what you've been holding on to or still holding on to. And based on how you feel when these things come up, you'll know what kind of emotions that you have that are keeping you in lack, that are keeping you in a poverty mindset. You'll be aware of what emotions you then need to clear and heal and release. And a lot of what comes up with these money stories are really false beliefs and long-held stories about money that have had power over you for a really long time. And it's time to stop allowing them to hold sway over the success that you could be experiencing in your life right now. And the only thing holding you back from that success is you. Is you not owning and taking responsibility for the fact that you are holding on to these beliefs and feelings and saying, this is me, this is my identity, I don't want to lose it, I don't want to lose it, I don't want to lose it. Even if it sucks to be in this identity that I've created to just survive, I don't want to change, I don't want to change. You have to take responsibility for that too. No one is going to come in and swoop in and rescue you from your money story. There's no magic pill. This is how you create those shifts. You want to manifest more money? This is how you do it. And anyone who tells you otherwise, that just recite this mantra 150 times a day and it's all fine, yeah, no. It doesn't work that way. And I'm not that kind of coach. I'm not the kind of coach that blows sunshine and unicorns and rainbows up your butt and says, yeah, now give me $1,500. No, I'm going to make you look at your stuff, because you know why? I did it. I never ask my clients to do anything that I don't do myself. And all of these exercises that are in the Money Lab, I have done myself. And you know what happened when I did them and I keep doing them? I keep up-leveling. I keep experiencing income thresholds that are going beyond what I thought I could ever make. I keep experiencing new pathways of abundance opening to me all the time. New situations, opportunities, people coming into my life that help me be the co-creator of my existence, create my reality in a way that is much more favorable to me, that is of my own design. Doing this work has allowed me to cast off what no longer serves me and to move into the role of being the architect of my life. Any coach who tells you that you don't have to look at this stuff, you don't have to go into this stuff or look at it or deal with it, is full of, you know what, I'm sorry. It's just true. And just what I've seen happen with the women that I've worked with one-on-one and doing VIP days with this work, I have seen how fast these shifts can take hold. So it's real, and the proof's in the pudding. You can see for yourself. So try this exercise, and if you do, and if you commit to this exercise, let me know how it goes. You know, post something in the group if you're in Ascending Earth Creatrix group, or post something on my Facebook business page, Catherine Massell, Ascending Earth Creatrix. So I'd love to know what comes up for you, because if you commit yourself to this and commit yourself to being awake and aware, you will experience things, epiphanies, aha moments that are like, oh, I see why I'm doing this, because that goes hand in hand with doing this work. So give yourself permission right now to be clear, to heal, to release the old programs, the patterns that have kept you in lack, and to make more money or experience more abundance, to allow for more pathways of prosperity to flow into you. Just give yourself permission for that right now, because the biggest part of doing any of this work is allowing yourself to receive. Allowing yourself to receive specifically, I can't speak. Allowing yourself to receive specifically that which you equate as being good. Okay? So give yourself permission to do that. Know that you can create a new money story of your own. And then just say, okay, good. Good. Put your hand on a heart and just say, okay, good. All right, good. So let's go through some areas for you to look at. It'll really help you uncover the details of your money story through looking at some of your money memories. So when doing this exercise, and get yourself a piece of pen and a paper, if you don't have one already. Keep these categories in mind when you do this exercise, okay? It will really help you break down your story. So family. What are some of the memories of your family always saying about money or about rich people? Okay. If you didn't grow up wealthy, chances are, if you had parents like I did, they said some things that were pretty lousy about people who had money. They thought that people who are wealthy are that they cheat money out of the government, they don't pay their taxes, like a whole, I mean, the list goes on. So I have a lot of memories around that. How were they behaving around money? You know, a lot of our money memories around why we hoard money is because our parents did it. And there's a really mixed mentality around hoarding, because when you're hoarding money and you're not spending it, it's this message that you're telegraphing to the universe that says, I don't trust that if I put this money out there that it's going to come back to me. That's a lack mentality. So you think, oh, I have all this money, I'm not spending it. You think that you're being smart with money, you're actually hoarding it, and that is lack mentality. And that's definitely how I grew up. Not with my mom, but with my dad. They were at two opposite ends of the spectrum with that. My mom, as soon as we had like a surplus of money come in, she's like, we're all going out for ice cream. We're going to the water park. We're going to the beach. And we're going to have a great big picnic lunch. And whenever my dad would experience a surplus of money, he was like, it's all going in the bank. It's all going in the bank. You're not going to look at it. Don't touch it. Don't even think about it. So it was really interesting growing up with parents that were on both sides of the spectrum with money, of spending and hoarding, spending frivolously sometimes versus hoarding. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, so I had to reconcile myself with a lot of that. Relationships. What has your past or current significant other made you feel about money? Or how do they trigger you around money? I just want to check in with the comments. And you guys feel free to comment or add your own situation here to what I'm sharing. Feel free to do that. If you are married to someone that has a really crappy money story, and you've been doing a lot of work energetically to try to clear that for yourself, and you're trying to stay in your own lane and do your work, but you can't help but, especially if you're married to someone, you share a house with them, you share a bed with them, share your life with them, it can be toxic because it feels like you're constantly trying to push away all of their feelings and beliefs and stories around money, even if you've done a lot of work to unravel your own and get clearer and a little more empowered with your own. It can still be very infectious. So maybe you're remembering something that your husband said or your wife said that still feels really toxic for you. Maybe it's a way they behave around money that's really toxic for you, and you can't help but, like, on some level take that on. Hey, Linda. Also with relationships, did you loan money that never got returned to you? Did you argue about money? Did your parents argue about money? Do you have friends that are married and they argue about money? What does that make you feel? You know, what do those memories stir up in you? What does that trigger in you? Be very aware of that. Your friendships. Did your friends ever judge you for your income level? I was saying in class, I have to adjust this shade, sorry. Okay. Slight adjustment. I was saying in the Money Lab class today, hi Ellen, welcome, thanks for joining. I was saying in the Money Lab class today that I'm lucky because I don't have very many friends, and the ones that I do have, I can count them on one hand, but they've been friends of mine since we were in kindergarten. Some of them 5th grade, but most of them like kindergarten, 1st grade. So they're my forever friends. And when I really started making changes and doing these shifts and becoming more visible online and becoming this whole other person that they didn't know when I was growing up and we were growing up together, they were very supportive and very loving and were just off in the wings, you know, giving me applause at everything I was doing and everything I was creating. And that was wonderful to have that support. But not all of our friends are that supportive and that loving, and sometimes they can be the most toxic part of our journey to be more empowered and abundant with money and financial prosperity. We'll often take on, because we think these are our friends, their judgment, their toxic feelings about our success. But really that speaks more to their feelings about their own success and their own limitations, their lack mentality and poverty mentality. It has nothing to do with us. And I often say someone else's opinion of us is none of our business. And it's very, very true. And this is especially true when it comes to money, because if you let those feelings come in and create a toxic environment, you cannot be in the energetic vibration of creating money in a favorable and powerful way. It will always feel desperate. It will always feel like a struggle. It will always feel like something you have to overcome. It doesn't have to be that way. So what have your friends said to you before? Your frenemies maybe, or acquaintances, coworkers that you are friendly with have said things about, judging you on your income level. Let's just say you're making more money. Are people judgmental around that? Are people saying, oh, that must be nice? Or maybe you are using it as a way to sabotage yourself when you think about creating more money. Do you go into that feeling of, well, Bridget or Claire, they're going to hate me if I make more money and I'm not going to be part of their little circle anymore. Well, maybe you don't need to be part of their little circle anymore. But think about how that can affect you. And especially if you have memories of that kind of thing happening before, might be time to make some new friends. Career and business. Do you want to charge more but feel you can't? So maybe you have some money memories around you did charge more for something that you offered as a service and you heard crickets. Okay, well that says a lot more about your energetic than it says about the people who would flock to your offer. If you feel like you don't have the self-worth or the self-belief in what you're offering in terms of your services, you are not in the energetic of calling in your soulmate clients, no matter what they're paying. So where do you have a money memory around doing that? Maybe you charged more, you started just seeing the potential of what you could create in your business, you charged more and you heard crickets, okay? You might have sabotaged yourself right out the gates before anyone could even look at your offer by putting out the energetic on that, saying, I'm not worthy of it though. And what memories are you holding from doing that that is keeping this kind of toxic place within you alive and not making it fertile ground for you to do this kind of offer again because you're so afraid that you're going to hear crickets again, okay? So this is really powerful stuff to look at. Have you had arguments, disagreements with customers or clients about money? Maybe you got in a little kerfuffle with a client who wanted a refund. You don't offer refunds, and that became a thing. Or maybe someone left a crappy testimonial because they're a crappy person. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. That's how I grew up, but not everyone has that feeling. And maybe that stymied you so much in moving forward. You took that on so much, a bad testimonial or an argument with a client, that it is literally blocking you and creating resistance and you creating more money. And it's creating a self-diminishing lack story of money. And anywhere you've made past bad money choices. This one is a whopper, and this one is my favorite because there's always the most to excavate here. Past bad money choices. We've all made them. I don't care if you're a millionaire or if you make $20,000 a year. We've all made bad money choices. And often we're carrying the energetic of these bad money choices so powerfully within us that it blocks us and it causes resistance in us creating more money or creating more financially fulfilling lives. So take a look at, with your past bad money choices, mistakes that you've made around money, okay? Could be spending too much one month in your life, like looking at how much money was coming in that month. Maybe you knew how much money was coming in, but you had a little surplus of cash and you spent all that extra money anyway, and now you're right back where you started at the beginning of a new month, unable to pay rent, okay? Business failures or bad investments. Definitely guilty of that. I had a brick and mortar business in San Francisco, and that really was something that didn't pan out. And I was doubting my own abilities to do the work that I was doing at the time, that I couldn't pay my rent, and I had to fold up that business. And I'm fine with it now because I can, in hindsight, I can see the timeline that was on, and that wasn't the right time for me to do what I was doing, and was also leading me to the next best thing. So that door closing allowed another one to open up. So in hindsight, I see it, but I didn't see it at the time. But for a while, I was holding a really bad memory around that. Like, I failed. Bad investments, sure, absolutely. Unpaid debts or uncollected debts from others. So that can be debts that you haven't paid. Maybe you owe money on a loan, or you owe money a couple months now on a credit card debt, and you're holding on to the memory of that, and it's maybe probably very alive and well, but this is creating a toxic environment for you. messages you've picked up from others, or from movies or TV, social media. Movies are really powerful because when we are watching a movie, and the way movies are made these days, we are really in the energetic of it, like we're there. We feel for the characters, we're very empathic for the situations that are going on. So if we're picking up any messages from those, they can be really powerful, and they can create energetic fragments that inform our perspective. Beliefs that you have about wealthy people, I talked about that, my parents' beliefs. Judgments that you've had towards others and their money. This is not only keeping you in dualistic mentality, in duality consciousness, but judgment is one of the lowest vibrational emotions that you can be in the energetic of. It's at a very low end of the emotional vibration scale. So when you think of the emotions here present in the earth plane, which we have a lot of them here, more than any other dimension or plane, by the way. Just a little side note. So if you think of it all on a continuum or on a spectrum of experience, okay? At the very high end of the emotional spectrum, you have vibrations of joy, kindness, love, compassion, mercy, okay? And at the very low, and there's a lot of different feelings on a continuum that lead down to the very low end of the vibrational spectrum. And things like anger, fear, panic, blame, worry, anxiety, grief, loss, resentment, judgment. These are all down at the very low end of the vibrational spectrum of experience. So holding judgment for yourself, allowing your inner critic, your inner judge to run rampant, having judgment for others and how they are with money, how they behave with money even, how you judge them for having money or not having money can be very, very powerful because it acts as a mirror for how you attract money in your own life. It projects into the energetic of how you attract money in your own life. Beware of judgment. Unnecessary purchases, frivolous spending, out of control spending, bad money choices around that. Anything you still feel guilty about or have shame about or especially embarrassment about. And I'll share something with you that is pretty powerful for me when I understood some of the things that I had taken on as money memories from my parents. I grew up lower middle class, and my brother and I, before my younger brother and sister were born, they're fraternal twins. I was 8, my brother was 9. We were latchkey kids because my mom couldn't afford a babysitter, so we were on our own. We had to learn how to do everything on our own, cook for ourselves, do laundry. When my brother and sister did come along, I was the babysitter. I was 8 years old. I was still a kid, and I had to babysit other kids. And that because we didn't have money for a babysitter, I also took on a lot of feelings of I was robbed of my childhood because I had to be a babysitter and a steward of these babies, these infants that came into the world, and I had a lot of resentment towards them that I wasn't checked into. All because my mom and dad didn't have money for a babysitter for these kids. Other money memories were I had to put stuff on layaway. Those of you here in the U.S. might know what that is. Some of you in other countries who are watching maybe don't know what layaway is, but it's the idea of you put money towards something every month or every couple weeks. You have a payment plan, and they hold that thing for you until you can come pick it up and pay it off completely. So I use the story today because this is a really powerful memory for me, money memory, about being in lack and growing up in lack. That if you want something, it's delayed gratification. Because our winter coats, when we were growing up, my younger brother and I, or my older brother and I, we were going coat shopping, winter coat shopping at the end of September. Because my mom had to pay it off in a series of payments in order for us to be able to have the coats when it got cold. Sometimes we had to wait a little longer. We had to still wear like our spring jackets or whatever. And that went for like winter boots too and whatever. So I grew up with this idea of, well, you can have this thing, but you got to wait a really long time for it. And someone else holds the power of having it until you can get it. That's powerful. So you get to excavate things like this by doing this kind of exercise. So start here to get a general idea of what to look for, okay? So your earliest memories about money. You'll be surprised how early on you can remember certain things. things your parents said to you about money, shared family money stories. And I also used this example in class today in the Money Lab about, in my husband's family, his father was building a house and it was complete, and then he died of cancer. So there was this beautiful house in Maine, and my husband's mother did not want to live in the house. Obviously, it was tainted for her at that point, and they were going to sell it. And the younger kids in the family, Jimmy's older brother and older sister, squabbled with his mother over who was allowed to have the house, because they pitched in and helped and did some things they really didn't. But there was this huge family controversy, and it became this family story, this money story, that allowed for bad feelings to exist between the mom, Jimmy's brothers and sisters, brother and sister, and Jimmy was kind of like this in-between, between all of that squabbling. It broke their family, it dissolved the family. The older brother died, still having this hatred and not speaking to his sister or his mother. And the sister still doesn't speak to the mom. So that's a powerful money story for Jimmy to unpack. And he's had to. And it's ugly. But it has dictated a lot about how he feels about money and family and relationships. And it runs a deeper program. So you have to honor that. What your family thought about rich people is another thing to look at. Major traumatic events in your family, like divorce or deaths. Kind of goes back into what I was saying on that. Any crimes, thefts, or criminal activity committed by you or against you. Memories that you might have about school and money. I remember not being able to pay for school lunch on a couple of occasions, and watching the other kids eat lunch, and I had to go and pretend I was doing something else and that I wasn't hungry. That's a painful memory and trigger. Memories around special occasions like Christmas or holidays. Luckily, those were good for me. My parents, well, yes and no, because I was very aware empathically of what was going on with my parents as a young person, as a little person. And I was aware that they spent a lot of money to make a nice Christmas for me and my siblings, often at the expense of things that they needed for themselves. And I was painfully aware of that. Svetlana says, my brother was born when I was 12 and I had to babysit with him, and then I was supporting him my whole life, as my parents were pretty old when they had him. Yeah, I had this feeling of stolen childhood too. This is a powerful thing to excavate. Talk about needing to do the forgiveness prayer. That would, that's a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Memories around, I did mention Christmas or birthdays. Another thing, because my brother and I, and this was a funny thing, and I didn't think it really impacted me, but I guess it did. I'm born January 19th, 1972. My older brother is January 27th, 1971. So for those of you who don't know, that's called Irish twins. I don't know why it's called Irish twins, it just is. I just found this out a couple years ago, what Irish twins is. So my parents, trying to save a couple bucks, of course, they celebrated our birthdays together. So, and I never asked my brother about this. I don't think he really cares, because he was the golden boy anyway. And he was the oldest born son, and that's a very, very important role in the family that I grew up in. But I always felt like I got cheated out of having my own birthday and having like just a day for me. I just wanted a day for me. And so I learned not to ask growing up for things that were just for me, because of how I had this certain behavior modeled to me that I had to share everything. So these things can be powerful, okay? Because they create a larger belief and a larger feeling. And also times when you were treated unfairly. Maybe you were treated unfairly by a boss, a coworker, a friend, or you treated yourself badly. You allowed the inner critic to run rampant. You allowed the inner judge to take over, and maybe you took behaviors based on the voice of that inner critic that were not very self-affirming and made you feel horrible, and you're holding on to the memory of that. And it's powerful because it's this uncovering of, I have the ability to do that to myself? That's not cool. And that's a scary revelation. Holly says, I have a sister born 2 days and 2 years apart, always celebrate together. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe some people grew up with that and they're okay with it, but I realized, and not till many years later, that I really wasn't okay with it. And I had a lot of beliefs in my life based on, I'm not allowed to just feel good and have a me day. I'm not allowed to just do what I want. I'm not allowed to just be the center of attention. I'm not allowed to have all eyes on me. So growing up, I was very uncomfortable if I did have all eyes on me. Now I do all kinds of lives and YouTube channel stuff and go live in my group. I obviously have no problem anymore with being the center of attention. But it plagued me for years. So be super honest with this exercise. I hope this has given you a lot to think about. Do some EFT tapping. Do some forgiveness work. Cancel, clear, delete, okay? Journal about what you find. Because this may open up a Pandora's box for you as it did for me, as it's going to do with a lot of women in the group, in the Money Lab. Anything that has a huge trigger emotionally or charges your energy in a big way will need some forgiveness work. Forgive yourself, forgive the people involved, forgive the situation, forgive the memory, forgive yourself for bringing this up again, cut the cords. Ask Archangel Michael to help you cut the cords, or any guides that you work with. It doesn't have to be just Archangel Michael. It's just that he's got a big old sword, and he's really perfect for cutting cords. And he's such a high vibrational energy. Yeah, cut the cords from the memory, cut the cords from the emotion, the trigger, but always ask to keep the lesson, right? Irish twins come from Irish families. Apparently many of them had children born within 1 year from each other. I think that's what it says. And as they got mistaken for twins. Awesome. A little history lesson from Renska. Thank you. I always figured it was something like that, but I didn't know for sure. I just thought it was funny that it was called that. And I am Irish. What else was I saying? Anything that has a huge trigger or charges your energy in a big way, make sure you do some forgiveness work. Make sure you do some cord cutting. Come back to this list and add things that may randomly come up, because they may. And be open to the fact that as you do this deeper work, you will open yourself up more to receiving information from your higher self. Because again, the universe is getting the message that, okay, she's doing this work now. Awesome, let's send her this. She needs to see this. Because this is one of the biggest things keeping her from what she is asking for. So the universe will send you that stuff. And be alert to what is coming in from your higher self, meaning that part of you that is the deepest core divine part of you that currently has all of these superimposed layers of lack and resistance on top of it. At your core, you know the truth of who you are, which is divine. And your higher self will always give you an out. It will always show you a way to access more of that. Always, if you trust that. And your higher self always wants to show you more stuff, so you can finally rid yourself of it. And depending on what you're asking for, depending on what you're trying to manifest in your life, it's going to send you always and ever. This is always the case. If you are asking for more of anything, more money, more success, more love, more financial abundance, a car, a house, whatever it is, the universe, through your higher self, will show you exactly what you need to clear in order to get it without resistance. It wants to show you more stuff so you can finally be rid of your resistance. And you can be the brilliant creator of your most abundant life yet, and for you to fully occupy the vantage point of creator versus the observer of your reality, which is something we talked about in the Money Lab today too. And it's okay to feel depleted after you do this exercise. You're going to. Energy work can sometimes be as exhausting as 30 minutes of cardio. I always say that. But just like doing 30 minutes or 45 minutes of cardio, you feel good after. You feel purged. Okay? Look forward to that feeling too. But take care of yourself. Drink water. Be kind to yourself. Go outside. Ground yourself in nature. Take a few deep grounding breaths. Get yourself present and centered. And love yourself no matter what. Have radical self-acceptance for looking at this stuff and being willing to be aware and woke to these patterns finally. And understand that this is just one step into doing greater life-changing work. And if you want that, and if you really want to change your money story, and you want to work with an amazing group and meet an amazing group of people who will help support you along your journey, the Money Lab is for you. We have ongoing support, resources, tools through the end of December 2018, and it's only $197. I challenge you to find a course that offers this level of support, live and otherwise, online resources, tools, exercise, mindset shifting, pattern interrupting, exercises for under $200. Good luck. So it's powerful. So get in here if this work resonates with you and you want to take this work deeper and get into creating a whole new empowering relationship with money. We're going to run 2 sacred soul alignments. They are poverty, struggle, and suffering, energetic disconnect. This is one of my favorite sacred soul alignments to run. And if you don't know what sacred soul alignments are, they come to us as a healing modality through my amazing mentor and friend, Alicia Hartzell. I became a sacred soul alignment practitioner last year, and I use these sacred soul alignments all the time. They are prayers, they are invocations, they are ways to clear, heal, release energy on deep levels of belief through the cellular programming, through the DNA, through your ancestral karma, clearing karmic loops, cycles of behavior, clearing oaths, vows, contracts, and obligations of being, agreements that we've made in this lifetime or any other lifetime. They go really deep, and they also upgrade your energetics simultaneously. So super, super powerful. Poverty, struggle, and suffering disconnect. Here's the description. So many of us struggle with poverty in all its forms: love, money, health, time, and so much more. We struggle with different aspects of our lives and unconsciously fall into an ongoing cycle of struggle and suffering that never seems to end. This is often a reflection and physical projection of unconscious oaths, vows, contracts, obligations, and agreements we have made in either this lifetime or another. This alignment will clear oaths, vows, contracts, obligations, and agreements of poverty, debt, suffering, struggle, sickness, etc. It brings in the knowledge and understanding of learning and growing and being closer to God, Source, Mother Creatrix, without needing to have or recreate these experiences. So it helps us to download the lesson. And then the other one that I'm running for you is Not For Me. And by the way, we do these sacred soul alignments every class in the Money Lab as well. You know what's weird, Sarah? You're here and I thought that you were in the Money Lab. But you're not. Let me find it. Not For Me. So anywhere we're buying into this idea of wealth, abundance, prosperity is everyone else but not for me. We are often unconsciously disconnected from the pure energy of abundance and knowing for a fact that we are divinity. We are creator. We are source. We are a spark of God. We are an extension of it. We are joy. We are freedom. We are love. We are all that is good in life. It's just that we get layers superimposed based on ego conditioning over that. And this pure energy is constantly flowing around us, and we can reach out, connect into it, and see it unfold in our lives if we heal and release embedded beliefs that tell us that all of this beauty, this joy, this abundance is not for me. So this alignment will clear the beliefs that good things are for everyone else, but not for me. Love is not for me. Money is not for me. Health is not for me. That everyone else can be happy, but that's not for me. This alignment also clears beliefs around this works for everyone but me. I've tried this before. It didn't work. It's not for me. Okay, anywhere you're holding on to any of those energetics. And it clears all shock and trauma from the experiences and patterns that have proven these beliefs to appear to be true. They're actually false. And it clears it across all time, dimensions, timeline, space, realities, within the DNA and in the collective. Okay? So all you have to do, I just want to make sure there's no more comments, is just get yourself comfy. Vinny, please stop. My dog's driving me crazy. He needs to go for a walk. I've literally been on the computer all day, so I need to go outside after this. So get seated in a comfortable place. Ideally, have your feet planted firmly flat on the ground. Put your hands in your lap with your palms facing up. This is a gesture of receiving. And then roll your shoulders back. You don't have to keep them back. Just roll it up to open up the energy of the chest and the heart space, because this is also a gesture of receiving. And then go ahead and close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths in. Because when we talk about this stuff and it filters in on a conscious level, it can be very uncomfortable. And we tend to hold tension in the body, especially the jaw and the brow. So just release that. Anywhere you're holding tension in the body, another deep breath, and just allow that to wash through you and out the soles of your feet, sending it into Mother Earth to be transmuted. And then with your eyes closed, just connect with the present moment, allowing yourself to feel the temperature of the air of the room that you're in on your skin, connecting with the even rhythmic flow of the breath, and calling back all parts and pieces of you anywhere you're in another time, another place, calling all aspects of self home to you, and all tethers and cords and fragments washed clean in God's source creatrix's light. With each sound you hear, the rise and fall of each cycle of breath, allow it to take you further and further into the present moment, being fully awake and aware and mindful of the presence of this now moment. Relax and expand into it. And then take the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. And with your eyes closed, gently roll your eyes upward as if you're looking into your own eyebrows. And allow your attention and focus to drift up and out of the crown above you, going up to about 350 feet above the crown of your head, where you begin to make contact with the higher dimensional realms, the less dense realms. Begin to make contact with the domain of Mother Creator and the creative matrix, the womb of cosmic consciousness and the web of all life, the energy of all that is. And become aware of the fact that you are a brilliant point of light in this web or grid. And as you look out or extend your feeling out, you are aware that there are also billions upon billions of points of light connected to you through this grid. And feel the oneness of that. Feel that cosmic connection. And bring that down through a singular column of energy, through the heart of your oversoul, the heart of your higher self, in through the crown, bringing the non-physical into the physical. And as you do so, you may feel a stretching or pulling feeling as you pull all frequencies of higher dimensional codes and light present in this grid above into the physical. It may feel dense or heavy, as if you're being stretched or pulled. Simply direct your breath to wherever you're feeling that. Allow that dense energy to dissolve, and simply allow yourself to recalibrate so you can accommodate all these higher frequencies in with ease and grace. And bring that all the way down through the body, through the brow, through the throat. Opening this energy up in the heart and letting that expand outward in all directions. Into the solar plex, into the sacral, the physical, sacral womb of you. down through the root, the base of the spine, down through the legs and out through the soles of the feet, going through all the layers of the earth and connecting deep into the womb of Mother Earth. Feeling a warm golden light emanate from this crystalline core as you pull in all the energy from the womb of cosmic consciousness above, in through your physical sacral womb, and into the womb of Mother Creation, here on Earth. Creatrix, it is commanded to send the sacred soul alignment, poverty, struggle, and suffering disconnect now. Thank you. And simply allow for the intelligence and the energy of this alignment to run. It knows exactly what to do. There's nothing you need do here except allow and receive. Creatrix, it is commanded to send the sacred soul alignment, not for me. Thank you. Just being aware of any imagery, feelings, signs, messages, symbols that come into your awareness. Simply allow yourself to receive them, allow them to be. And allow the higher intelligence, the divine intelligence of these energies to help you uncreate or unbe anything that has outlived its service or use to you. Allowing you to keep the lesson. And to mark any and all karmic contracts downloaded and complete that are keeping you in a loop cycle of lack, scarcity, poverty, or self-denial. And take a deep breath in and just release that. That should feel a lot lighter. Thank you, Creatrix. And then begin to pull this cord of connection back down from the higher realms, in through the heart of your higher self, back down through the crown, going through all the chakra centers of the body, out through the soles of the feet, back down through the layers of the earth, back into the crystalline core of Gaia. And asking Gaia to help you cleanse or transmute any lingering energies no longer aligned with your highest and best good, and helping you to ground all of the highest gifts and new energies in your life right now that you were given during these transmissions. Thank you, Gaia. And then bringing this pristine and perfect energy back up through the soles of the feet, connecting with and lighting up, opening up, recalibrating, upgrading all of the energy centers of the body as you bring this up to the top of the head. Take a deep breath in and allow yourself to energetically disconnect from this transmission now. And so it is. Thank you, Great Mother. And when this feels complete, go ahead and open your eyes. And just make sure that you are grounded. Go ahead and focus in on something in your room that is connected with the earth. Maybe it's a crystal, maybe it's a plant. Who knows what it is? Maybe you have an altar where you have flowers. Anything that connects you with the earth or the earth space. Luckily, I get to look out into a yard full of big pines and cedars. So I get to look at a tree and ground myself. But make sure you're just fully grounded. And you may want to take a walk in nature. I know for some of you watching it's quite late. just go ahead outside and open the door and take in a deep breath of fresh air. And just fully reset your energy. So I hope that has helped you. I hope that this has truly given you some food for thought, and that if you do really want to change your situation with money, that you give yourself over to and give yourself permission to do this exercise and allow yourself to anchor into the energies of being more awake and aware and being more of the creator of your own reality, because you always and ever have the ability to do that. It is based on your decision and your free will choice to do so. And for those of you who are aligned with joining us in the Money Lab and you want more of this, I guarantee that you are in mighty company, that if you show up and do this work, you will experience positive shifts. Some of the members of the group are already seeing more money in their businesses, experiencing more pathways of abundance flowing to them. It's a really fun group of people. We have a lot of fun in there. So I will leave the information about that here in the comments and on the title of the post. So I want to wish you all so much love and peace. Have a beautiful weekend, beautiful soul session Saturday, and I see you soon.